Hello my strange and charmed ones, and welcome back to my channel for another video. I am always asked, Alexis, how is it that you stay inspired to create blog posts, YouTube videos, to take photos for Instagram, to come up with projects for your business and your personal life? What keeps you personally inspired and thinking outside the box and thinking creatively? This is obviously a really difficult question, I think, for anyone to answer, right? Obviously, there's no one place where we as human beings can just go to get inspiration. It's not as simple as saying, this is what I do, and then the result is I am inspired to do a new project. It just doesn't work that way. But as someone who is a creative entrepreneur, someone whose livelihood depends on them coming up with new ideas and thinking creatively and solving, different problems creatively and looking at life through a different lens than the normal lens, I do have different suggestions for things that I do whenever I really feel like I'm lacking inspiration and lacking motivation to create. So I wanted to share some of these tips with you today in case you are in an inspirational or creative slump, or if you too are a creative entrepreneur or someone who is looking to start a business, but you're really not feeling the inspiration and motivation to create. Hopefully, maybe by following maybe one or two of these tips that I'm about to suggest to you, maybe you'll find some inspiration in your own life. Okay, so the first thing I like to do when I am lacking inspiration is listen to music. I personally am someone who enjoys music. I enjoy a wide variety of music, and I really do think that music has the ability to speak to our souls, okay? It speaks to something inside of us that's really hard to pinpoint, which to me is the same sort of place where our inspiration and creativity comes from. So whenever I'm really lacking inspiration, I will put on a playlist of music. What that music will be will honestly just depend on my mood at the time. If I'm feeling down and I feel like I need to be uplifted, I'll put on some high energy and fun music. If I'm feeling really riled up and I can't focus long enough to come up with creative ideas, I'll put on some mellow music. Music really does have the ability to speak to us in so many different ways. So if you are lacking inspiration and creativity, I would highly suggest going to Spotify or even YouTube and searching up some new music. I think that it's really important too that you do try to focus on finding new music, because part of inspiration to me is opening your mind up to new things, and that's what helps me to stay creative, I know. So if you're looking for new music, I definitely think looking at places like Spotify where you can kind of look through the different charts and the different genres and hopefully stumble on something new that helps you to inspire creativity. That's definitely a great tip. And I also, if you did not know, on a monthly basis, more or less, I share what is called a productivity playlist. It is a playlist of music that I've been listening to a lot in that given month. So if you would like to check out my recommendations or the things that I listen to, I will leave the link for my productivity playlists down below. The next thing that I will do when I am lacking inspiration is I will read something new. So again, I think it's important to expose yourself to new music if you're kind of feeling a lack of inspiration. I think that exposing yourself to new literature is also very powerful. And I don't mean that you need to go ahead and look up a book from the Gothic or Romance eras, if that's not something that you like to read normally. But I think that you really need to think outside of the box for sorts of writing that could stimulate your inspiration and creativity. For me, I honestly will read a lot of scientific publications. I like reading popular science articles, and I will read technology articles and things like that, even though it doesn't pertain specifically to the work I'm doing or the creativity that I'm looking to stimulate for myself. I always kind of find really fun inspiration in different places. So I definitely think it's worth it for you to just peruse the internet for a while, maybe go to the homepage of the Huffington Post or Yahoo or something like that where they share different sorts of articles. click on something unexpected, something you wouldn't think you'd normally like, and give it a read and see if that stimulates your creativity and inspiration. I just really do find that when you expose yourself to new points of view, you really are expanding your mind and opening up different possibilities for creativity. So reading is a way that I like to do that as well. Another activity that I will frequently do when I'm lacking inspiration, and this is especially helpful to me when I'm brainstorming for a new project or product that I'm going to create. I like to sit down and write stream of consciousness style. So if you're not familiar with what this means, stream of consciousness, it's literally when you sit down with pen and paper, or you could sit down in front of your computer. It really doesn't matter. Although I do think that writing with a pen and paper creates a more tactile experience that I think opens your mind up to more inspiration. But if you sit down and write anything that's coming to mind, okay? So stream of consciousness style just means you are taking anything that's in your head, whether it's, thoughts or plans or just random bits that are popping into your mind, you write it all down. You don't hold anything back. You don't filter anything. You just sit down and you write. And after about 5, 10, 15 minutes of this, the beginning of your writing session might be incredibly random. And I do find that what ends up happening is as you follow your thoughts and write them down, your mind really starts to wander and ends up in places where you would not expect. So I know this is kind of very obscure, the way I'm talking about this. But if you've ever sat down and just, been thinking about things, you know how your mind can switch from one topic to another, and you could be thinking about dinner and plans, and you could be thinking about a holiday coming up or errands you have to run, and then all of a sudden you're having these sorts of really big aha moments just because you've been sitting there thinking. And that's the sort of result that I think that you get when you're writing stream of consciousness style. And of course, writing it down is actually better than just sitting there and thinking, because you actually have a record of what it was that you were thinking, which how many times have I been like laying in bed, not able to sleep, thinking about a million things, came up with a great idea, wasn't writing it down because I was in bed, and then I lost that idea the next day. I think that writing it down really helps, and it really helps to see your train of thought and how you got to a certain thought by kind of just jotting down different ideas. And this writing does not have to be like A+ sort of like, essay style writing. You can literally just bullet point ideas that are coming to mind, but by letting your mind wander and keeping track of what your mind is thinking about, I do think that spending like 15 to 20 minutes doing this can really help you solve problems creatively, or think about things in a deeper, more meaningful way. So that's another way that I like to find inspiration when I'm lacking it. Okay, and the final way that I like to find inspiration that I want to share with you today is in physical activity. So I don't really understand why this is. Again, I think maybe it has something to do with the tactileness of being physical, just like writing with pen and paper in the stream of consciousness example, I think gives you a better effect for your inspiration and creativity. But actually engaging in some sort of physical activity, for some reason, always inspires me. I really do think that I come up with some of the best ideas and solve some of the most complex problems while I'm working out at the gym, okay? So get on a treadmill or go and take a walk, or just, do your favorite workout video. And I really think that there is something to be said about that sort of situation when you are physically exerting yourself. Your mind seems to go into a calmer place. And I think that you end up having these very pure and interesting thoughts that just sort of spring up out of nowhere. Especially, for me, if I'm like mindlessly like on an elliptical machine and maybe just like watching TV in front of me, my mind will tend to wander, and I will think about things that I have to do, and I'll think about problems that I need to solve. And I think part of it is that while you're working out, you can't go and like solve solve the problem. You know you can't go and run an errand while you're in the middle of this workout session. So I think that this feeling of almost like helplessness, where you're just sort of being aware of your thoughts, but you actually can't act, I think that stimulates some sort of inspiration or creativity in our minds. I don't know why, but for me, it really does work. There really is something about engaging in physical activity and saying, I'm going to be spending the next 30 minutes or the next hour, you know, being physical, that kind of traps you in your own mind in a way and helps you to really unlock different creativity inside of you. So I definitely think it's worth it to get up and do some physical activity if you are feeling like you're in an inspirational slump. So those were my tips for finding inspiration when you're lacking it. Now I guess I would like to challenge you guys. I know I did that Power Hour challenge a few weeks ago, and a lot of you seem to like that. So I want to challenge you that sometime in the next week, if you are feeling a lack of creativity and inspiration, I want you to do one of these 4 things. I want you to go ahead and listen to music. I want you to go ahead and read something new. It doesn't have to be a whole book. It could be just an article online. I want you to try writing stream of consciousness style, or go ahead and do something physical. Whichever of these 4 solutions seems like it'll work best for you, go ahead and give it a try. And actually, you know what, maybe think about which of the 4 solutions will actually be more difficult for you, because getting outside of your comfort zone is really what the heart of inspiration and creativity really is for me. So I think that if you challenge yourself to do something that you wouldn't normally do, let's say you are an avid reader, maybe you want to go and take a walk instead, or maybe you're someone who likes to listen to music, maybe you're more of an audible sort of person, maybe sitting down and spending some time writing will really help to open the creative channels in your mind. So challenge yourself in the next week to do one of these 4 things. You don't have to do all 4. Pick one of them, whichever one you're either comfortable with or whichever one you think is going to challenge you the most. I think you should pick the one that's going to challenge you the most. And go ahead and put it on Instagram. Take a picture. Let me know that you did it. Let's do some more accountability. Of course, if you do put a picture up on Instagram, make sure to tag me at MissTrenchcoat, and let's go ahead and use my favorite hashtag, CharmGTD, and we will all search that hashtag and get inspiration and see what everyone's up to. If you want to play this accountability game, leave me a comment down below and let me know that you're going to do this, and maybe which style of inspirational activity you are going to partake in, and let's get some creative juices and inspirational juices flowing. And if you have any other tips for finding inspiration when you're really just lacking it, please leave those down below, because I know that I would like to read your comments, and I think everyone else in the community will enjoy it as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you learn a tip or trick for how you can stimulate your own creativity. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. It's very helpful for me if I know that you guys like it. And leave me a comment down below if you have any questions, or just letting me know that you're participating. I'd love to see that. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, bye-bye!